AEW Dynamite was red hot when it came tonight in Winston-Salem, North Carolina for AEW Dynamite for episode for August 7th, 2024. More importantly, it was a great investment. I enjoyed everything that was intriguing about the actual storylines, and pro wrestling was always on par when it came to everything that was actually going on throughout the whole entire night. All In is really looking good as Tony Khan continues to stack up the storylines, and more importantly, I look forward to seeing all those matches be on a great showcase similar to a big stage like WrestleMania, but it's going to be a great take of professional wrestling. Appreciate you guys coming through and showing your love and support for conducting our AEW Dynamite review for Wednesday night for August 7th, 2024. The show was great. It was poised. You couldn't ask for anything better. Every key person that was involved in tonight really had me invested. The show started off with MJF versus Kyle Fletcher. This was a title eliminator match for the American Championship, but this match was great. Everything you could have asked for, these boys put on a clinic, and I enjoyed everything about the match. The match was a giveaway when it came to MJF picking up the victory after Don Callis got involved, was trying to throw the screwdriver to Kyle Fletcher, but he looked like he turned face, but MJF took advantage, hit the low blow, followed up with the brain buster to pick up the victory. Post-match, MJF took advantage of and knocked the referee out as he had the American Championship, then proceeded to get the AEW Dynamite Dining Ring as MJF ended up beating Kyle Fletcher to a bloody pulp. And Will Ospreay was trying to get there, but there was a barricade blockage directly in his dressing room where he was trying to actually get to the ring. Things continued to progress as Kyle Fletcher was down as MJF was yelling to the camera and saying the blood is on Ospreay's hands, and MJF picks up Fletcher and calls for the Tiger Driver, but Will Ospreay finally made the save. More importantly, MJF finally ran directly into the crowd with his championship and pretty much left him. Don Callis kind of grilled Will Ospreay after everything had broke down, and he was upset. He was trying to ask him why wasn't he thought there. He kind of explained it, and then they pretty much cut away directly from that segment. Then we get ready for the Glamour, Mariah Mae. She's in singles action taking on Viva May. She's back again for another lovely edition for AEW for Dynamite. And things really broke down very quickly in this match. There was a lot of back and forth, but it was one-sided as Mariah pretty much picked up the victory after hitting the Storm Zero. Follow up with her hitting the Mayday as well. Then things really broke down post-match when we had Toni Storm sending a gift directly to Mariah Mae. She opened the gift and showed a portrait of Mariah Mae being cuddled by Toni Storm. Then the backside says Mariah die, Mariah die. Then things really broke down as Mariah finally threw the sign down, but Toni Storm was already in the ring as she was in disguise. She threw the wig off, and then these ladies went into a full-on brawl. These ladies broke down as the staff and the security tried to break these ladies up, but the fans were chanting to let them go. More importantly, I was intrigued at seeing what was going to go on with these ladies as things continue to be in a great progress, and I look forward to seeing more of the AEW Women's Championship into this actual storyline each weekly. But when the culmination of the conclusion comes to a head over at AEW's All In, we know these ladies are going to put on a banger, and you truly would not be disappointed 100%. Then we get things underway directly as Jack Perry's video footage for his segment. The funny hot take was TacoBell interfered in the live feed, but I was able to actually check out the actual YouTube and Twitter full segment, and it showed highlights of Darby Allin's career, highlights of him winning championships, and so much more. Jack Perry ended up picking up a sledgehammer, and then things got more intriguing when he broke the monitors, and then the last monitor had Scapegoat across it. It was decent, but it was very mid at best. Then we had, after that segment, from a commercial break, we ended up having Darby Allin talking about Jack Perry. He doesn't want him to show up directly on Rampage or Collision, but more so directly at All In to make the challenge for the TNT Championship. It's going to be bad blood and a grudge between these two. It's going to be hard hitting, or we're going to have real glass implemented. I think it's going to be do wonders, and the London crowd is going to be really invested when it comes to this actual match. Then we get ready for the next showcase. It's going to be the Bad Apple Brian Keith taking on no other than Kazuri Shibata. It's a great technical match. Everything about it was okay. The Jericho learning tree needs to go away. Was not invested. But in overall, this match was pretty decent for what it was, as Taz was actually removed from the actual commentary because the situation is already going on Hook. But overall, the match was a lot of back and forth. Great technical work. I would like everything to happen. But of course, it was a giveaway that Shibata was going to secure the victory as he picked up the victory via submission. Then things really got intriguing as the learning tree put the beat down post-match to Shibata. But then things really broke down as Chris Jericho was about to have the FTW Championship and was about to hit Shibata as the learning tree was holding him up. Hook's music hit. He came running full steam. Came directly, cleared all the heels directly out the ring. Got into a little bit of a melee brawl with Chris Jericho. He was about to set him up for a suplex. Then things really got more intriguing as he said he wants the FTW Championship, so most likely it's going to be at All In. And I look forward to seeing that hardcore style match, including with everything implemented, including the kitchen sink will not be unturned. Tables are going to be involved. And this feud is just long-term booking just in general. Then we switch gears to a backstage segment with Renee Paquette. She's backstage talking directly with Orange Cassidy about tonight's match, that his actual teammates are not going to be there in the arena because due to flight schedule issues and everything that had actually stand. But he said don't worry, he has teammates and they're going to be local talent that's going to be involved in the actual match. Then we switch gears to another segment. Renee Paquette is in an interview with no other than Hangman Adam Page. He's furious. He's pissed off. He's upset about the loss to Darby Allin. More importantly, he says he's going to come directly for one man that he has always wanted, and he tells Renee that he gets what he wants when it comes to that situation. And believe Hangman's going to be straightforward. He's not going to back down, and he's going to come for vengeance. And I look forward to seeing what will actually transpire when it comes to no other than the Hangman. I'm loving this heel run. I'm invested. I want to see more when it comes to the Cowboy. Then we have a sit-down interview with Shane Swerve Strickland. He's sitting down with good old JR, who's looking good. He was diagnosed with diabetes, but he's dropped the weight so much that he's looking a lot better. But of course, he knows a little bit of things because he's up there older in age, but he still has got his swag when it comes to knowing how to interview correctly. Shane Swerve Strickland was straight to the point. He says he is beyond motivated when it came to going from a tag team match to now being in a main event. And it means the world to him when it comes to it. Not only that, when he beats Bryan Danielson, he will beat Bryan Danielson, and then his legacy will belong to Swerve, more importantly. Bryan Danielson is going to be a tough opponent. Swerve was very confident. He was very laid back, and he was poised, and he was serious about what he was looking forward to do when it comes to that actual World Championship match over at All In. Beyond that, we get ready for the next match tonight, Trios action, as we have Beast the Mortars, as well as Roosh and Rodrick Strong, along with the Undisputed Kingdom of hanging out at the ringside directly in the fans lot area. As Orange Cassidy had his guest, it was no other than FTR, who came out with the Hitman's glasses. And this match was great. I enjoyed everything about it. Of course, the conclusion came down to when FTR was able to hit that big rig or shatter machine to pick up the victory after a great match, after a combination of an orange punch into the shatter machine, and you couldn't get everything that you really wanted, but you did got great trios action, and it was great. 100%. It kept me invested, and I liked it. I had no complaints about it, and I look forward to seeing more. If they continue to replay this again next week or even on Collision, I wouldn't have no ill will. But when it comes to Rodrick Strong and the Undisputed Kingdom, after MJF made that official heel run, they feel lost. I don't know what's going on with that whole situation. They just feel out of place. Rodrick Strong is just there as a filler. They have no creative input for them, and they just feel lost. The Beast Mortis is great. Couldn't ask for anything better. I always enjoy his work, and you know he's intriguing. Bruce is that ace. That's somebody that you don't want to let go and go to another company, but he is great when it comes to his in-ring work just in general. When it comes to FTR, you know there's nothing unturned. FTR is always going to do their thing and elevate the tag team division. More importantly, whoever they're in the ring with, they make them better and elevate each opponent they come across with and have great chemistry. Orange Cassidy is always going to be red hot and be the face of one of the pillars of AEW, and he's always going to have the fan support. Regardless of what he does, he can't do any wrong because he's Orange Cassidy. Things broke down afterwards. Post-match, we had the Claim came down to the ring. Of course, Max Caster was trying to get into his kind of mic drop as usual, but the mic was cut off because the EVPs cut him off. Dax and Cash, we're not here for talking, we're here for brawling. And pretty much they got into a melee brawl, and things really broke down when it came to the post-match, as they're going to be setting up to become no more contenders between both teams to face no other than the EVPs, the Young Bucks. Things broke down next as no other than Kirsten Cage and the Patriarchy. They were kind of just being in the middle ground between the match between the Bang Bang Gang and the House of Black this following Collision to set the number one contenders for the trios titles. And Christian's going to be the special guest referee. Most likely it's going to be a three-way trios match for the trios championship. And you know it's going to be a smash mouth pandemonium. When I feel about too many people in one match, it just becomes a mess. But hopefully they can get the chemistry and everybody be able to get off all their offensive moves, but keep things kind of calm, cool, and collective when they have everybody being involved in this match. Then we get ready for Kamille. She's taking on local talents, which is Kiara Carter and Jasmine Hope. This match was pretty decent for what it was. Wash match, you got everything that you wanted, and Kamille was just basically just dominant, 100%. She did a double pin. Post match, Mercedes tells us to say hello to the Brick House. More importantly, say hello to your CEO. And she does it with the DMD kind of style, point the finger. And she tells everyone to hold their breath because Britt Baker is not there tonight because she's still suspended all the way until All In. More importantly, she'd like to thank her besties, the Young Bucks, for making that happen. But things really broke down as Tony Schiavone came directly down there and said he talked to Christopher Daniels, and Tony kind of overrided the situation, and Britt Baker will be there next week for Dynamite. And of course, no other than Mercedes got upset. She was pissed about the whole situation. And then Tony Schiavone said, check that via satellite, as Britt Baker has a few words. Britt Baker then initially gets directly on and she tells Mercedes that she can get a bodyguard, she can get her suspended. More importantly, she can't run, and when she makes a commitment, she sees it through to the end. Unlike Mercedes that takes her ball and goes home the second she runs into any kind of roadblocks or situations. She proceeded to say AEW is just the current flair for her, and this is all ends at All In. And if you doubt for a single second she's going to find a way to get to her, she is a doctor. She is the DMD. But of course, it was a great segment. It was calm, cool, and collective, and I was invested to see what was going to happen with the TBS Championship. From my personal opinion, I do not want to see Britt Baker win that championship after just returning from injury. Give it a little bit of time, give it a rematch, maybe a secondary match, and then we'll see what goes on from there. Then we get ready for the main event of the night. As Mark Henry used to always put it, it's time for the main event. As we had American Dragon Bryan Danielson taking on the last Outlaw, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, in a decent match. Anything goes, that means pretty much balls of no disqualification. This match had everything you wanted. They brawled all throughout the arena. The fans were invested. They were red hot tonight in North Carolina. More importantly, things broke down as I figured that Double J was going to fall to defeat, as Bryan Danielson was able to pick up the victory after the assisted recycled knee. More importantly, things broke down with full respect as The Dragon, of course, Ricky Steamboat came down to congratulate both men, raise both of their hands. Then the respect part where both men shake with honor, similar to Ring of Honor style, and things broke down from there. As Swerve Strickland came down afterwards, you know it's whose house? Swerve house. Swerve came down. He took his time as Jarrett and all the legends went to the back. Swerve went straight to the point. He says he sees 3 legends on the TBS programming: Jarrett, Ricky Steamboat, and Swerve Strickland. All men have defined pro wrestling on this network when it comes to AEW. More importantly, he said the difference between the 3 of them, Bryan, is that they've been world champions here, and now only one thing between Danielson and the title is Swerve. Bryan is one of the greatest of all time, and that is why it's going to be a huge honor to retire him and take control of his legacy. And pretty much things broke down as he said he wants a warm-up match before All In. So the next week on Dynamite, he wants to wrestle Willard Yuta. Yuta gets in his face, pissed off, and says he ain't no goddamn warm-up. But Swerve continues and tells Danielson he wants to have him front row seated to see why he's the most dangerous man in all elite wrestling. The show concludes from there after Swerve ended up raising the championship. Things really broke down afterwards as they had a breakdown that happened via exclusive on YouTube, where we ended up having Hangman walking into Jarrett, who was going to the back, and then of course Jarrett's crew got into a brawl. Karen Jarrett was howling over the place, not even including things that really broke down when we still had Mariah Mae and Toni Storm still brawling. Like, the staff couldn't pick them apart and break them up. They were still brawling on their exclusive actual video. It was intriguing. The show was great. Had such a great time, and I couldn't ask for anything better on tonight's AEW Dynamite for August 7th. More importantly, appreciate you guys coming through and show your love and support. Post your comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe. And more importantly, I'll catch you guys on the next one.